Hi, everyone. So I want to guide you through our last peer review assignment surrounding the digital portfolio and just hopefully, again, help explain some of the verbiage, language in the questions. This one especially, there is a lot of kind of composition world speak. So just wanted to make clear what some of these questions are actually asking. So, number one, how has the author used decisions such as selection of background color, design, use of images, so on and so forth? So, this question is asking how and not did they use. So, what we're looking for in your answer is where does the author incorporate these different design elements? And how have their choices made the writing more clear and meaningful? So again, not just saying like, yes, they use these things, but where did they use it throughout their portfolio? How did they use it? And how did it help make their meaning and their message more clear to you, the reader? Same thing with number two. So how has the author included evidence? So evidence of learning should follow each statement of learning. So if you say in English 105, I learned rhetorical awareness. Well, you should include at least one piece of evidence, and that should be, it could be a selection from any of the writings you've done in the course. It could also be screenshots of any of the assignments or the multimodal pieces that you've composed, the peer review assignments, anything that you've done in this course that would serve as a piece of evidence should always be coupled with every statement of learning. Those should be present in all of the course reflections, but especially from the mid-course to the post-course. A lot of times in the pre-course reflection, there's not quite as much multimodality because we haven't learned about it yet. And then the last thing, how do those pieces of evidence that the author included support their statements of learning? So was their evidence meaningful to you? Does it clearly support their statement of learning? So remember, for every statement, there should be a piece of evidence, and that evidence should vary. So that's not all just a copied and pasted piece of the paper. We really do want to get multimodal with how we are including that evidence. So next, what choices for the design and display of evidence has the author used to complement the rhetorical structure of the reflection? So again, lots of composition words here, but basically what we're asking is how does the overall design help reinforce the evidence of the author's learning? How has the author used contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity throughout the visual design of their portfolio? And what evidence is included that shows the student has or will transfer their learnings into other areas of their life? So that could be academic, personal, professional, or civic. But that's basically what this question is asking. It's just how has the author used those design elements throughout their portfolio, again, to really show and serve as a display of everything that we've learned as kind of the culminating piece from this class. The other thing I do want to point out is that all of these questions are taken directly from the portfolio rubric, which we have embedded at the top of the worksheet. So if you do have any questions, the rubric would be another good place because, again, all of these questions were pulled directly from the rubric. Okay, next, how has the author archived and organized coursework in a purposeful, clear, and reader-centered ways? So besides using the pre-structured format of the portfolio, how has the author embedded their work in a logical and even meaningful way for the reader? So, are the pieces of evidence chronological? Does it show growth between each of the major writing projects that we did, Project 1 and Project 2? So again, rather than just plopping, the information or the evidence into the portfolio in the pre-structured way, what thought has gone into the way that that information is embedded in the portfolio? This also ties into the next question, how does the author contextualize the material? So in other words, is evidence and the invention work introduced and its purpose explained? So again, we don't want you to just copy and paste pieces from your paper. We don't want you to just embed one of the discussion boards or one of the invention assignments that you've done. We really want you to contextualize that with, again, just a sentence or two most of the time is enough of what that invention work or what that assignment did in order to help you achieve your learning goals throughout the course. Moving down, so under post-course reflection, How does the author discuss and include evidence of the transfer of writing and multimodal skills to other contexts? So again, this could be other academic classes, but it might also extend into the author's professional, personal, or civic life. So some examples might include work emails, social media posts, blog posts, academic papers, letters, things like that. So there's lots of ways that, again, I know we are all communicating, during the length of this course. I'm sure the only writing that you've done has not been for English 105. So really, sometimes we have to get creative. If you aren't taking any other courses or maybe you're not employed, if this is the only class you're in, think about, in your personal life or even in your civic life, what other types of writing and meaning making have you done? Other than that, the other questions are hopefully a little bit more clear, but again, I just wanted to address some of the jargon that we include here. The other thing I do want to highlight before I end this video is when we say invention work, what we're talking about are any of those small assignments that you did leading up to the major writing projects. So for project 1, we did discussion boards about our topics. We did discussion boards about infographics. You also did your preliminary interview assignments. So any of those kind of smaller assignments that built up to the major writing projects, that is what we would consider invention work. Anyways, best of luck finishing this up, and I can't wait to read the peer reviews. Thanks, guys.